today I have an exciting new video for you all. I've got my first Nitecore flashlight. This is the P23i, and I'm going to go through, unbox it, and just let you know a little bit about this flashlight. I got this sent to me by a new company called Flashlightgo. They stock a whole bunch of different flashlights. I'll put a link down in the description below as well if you want to check them out. So you can have a look here. I mean, on the sides, you've got USB-C rechargeable. Quite impressed with the packaging. I mean, it's a lot more fancy than the usual flashlight packaging. It reminds me a little bit more of like the Emerald style packaging, where it has, a little bit more of this embossed stuff on the outside, a little bit more flashy, I suppose. And you can see here some of the specs of the flashlight. Strobe ready, so one-handed operation for strobes. I think it's got a one-step strobe in here. USB-C charging, so that's good. And this is one of the newer Nitecore flashlights that has just come out. And yeah, you can see here it contains the SFT70 LED. I've not had this. I've not used this LED before, so I'm really interested in seeing how it performs, especially because I've got an SFT40. And I might do a comparison video between the SFT40 and 70 in another video later. So 470 meters of throw. I think that's pretty impressive for a flashlight of this size. 21700 long-range tactical flashlight. And as you guys know, I love my throwy sort of flashlights as long as it has enough spill. You can have a look here on the side. 3000 lumens, again, the same sort of specs. Got the candela rating, 55,300 candela, 2 meter drop resistance and 2 meter waterproof. And you can see here there's a couple. This is interesting because there's two buttons on the tail switch. You've got the main power button, and then you've got this mode button here. So I'm interested to see what that actually does, how to actually use it. In all the tactical lights that I have, there's only one button on the back. So I think this is pretty cool that there's two, and perhaps maybe like a programmable function as well. And you can see here there's also strike bezel, high strength silicon nitrate ceramics. So you've got those beads there that you can use to break windows. Again, USB-C charging. There's some little information here to the Nitecore website. And oh, that's cool. So it comes with the battery, it comes with a holster, and also USB-C charging cable, and a little warning sign there and a point in your eyes. So let's go ahead and open this up, see what's inside the box. Okay, so here we have everything that's included in the box for the P23i. Bring it up a little bit closer to the camera, and you can see just a bit of a close-up of the light. And it's quite interesting. It's got a nice kind of a shiny anodization from about the cooling fins downwards, and then the top of the flashlight actually is a matte black, sort of finish. You can see the brand up the top here. Oh, here's the USB-C charging port. And geez, this is quite difficult to get open. I actually like this because especially if you're taking this near water, you're going to want that to be pretty sturdy. So that does form a very, very strong seal on there. Probably the strongest seal I've seen, apart from some other tactical next torch flashlights I've got. You can have a look just underneath the bezel as well, and on the bezel there are these three ceramic beads, and you got the SFT mid under there. No dust underneath, which is nice. Okay, it's quite a large emitter, but it's a de-domed emitter as well. There you go, just a little view of it from the side there. Smooth reflector, and the reflector probably, having a look at it, it only goes down roughly to around where the cooling fins are. So it's, it's a fairly shallow reflector, but given the LED, we've got a de-domed LED in there and the smooth reflector, I think this is going to be able to throw pretty far, but I need to do the measurements properly and have a look at what you can get out of it. So it also comes with a manual. You can see here it's just got a few bits of information here. Tactical mode and daily mode available. This is something that's interesting. So apparently you can switch between the two modes. One mode allows you to access turbo straight away. The other one just allows you to flip between lower brightness modes. I'm going to have to figure that out and see how it works. Some little specifications here as well. 143.5 millimeters in length and head diameter 31.8 millimeters, which is good because you're going to be able to fit this in your pocket without any discomfort. Tube diameter 25 millimeters and tail diameter 28.5 millimeters, 114 grams. You've got a worldwide warranty card, worldwide warranty service. Okay, that's pretty cool. Serial number, date of purchase. I think you can register this somewhere. USB-C charger. You've got a lanyard and some O-rings. Oh, and which is that, you got a little clip as well. I think the clip goes just around here in the center part of the flashlight. Just a usual pressure grip. Quite sturdy for sure. And you can flip it as well around to get a more of a headstanding version as well if you want it the head facing up in your pocket, but I usually prefer the head facing down. That way when I take it out of my pocket I've got the access to the button straight away. So it's really cool as well that Nitecore included a holster, and look at that. Let's have a look. And you know, the Velcro actually goes a little bit further down here, which looks a bit odd, but you know what, it does the trick. So I can even probably use this for a smaller flashlight as well. You know, something that maybe goes down further like to here. So that's pretty cool. This is just a usual lanyard. Kind of looks similar to the Mate Minco lanyard, actually. Very similar. So I don't normally use these on tactical flashlights. They get a bit annoying in my pocket that way. I just get the flashlight on its own. And look at that, just a little USB-C cable, one O-ring. Here's a closer up view of the flashlight. Let's open it up and get a look at the battery configuration as well. There's probably some insulation stuff. Yep, there is. Okay, so you just got to pull up this little tab. And wow, look at this battery. I've never seen a battery like this before. It's kind of 5,000 milliamp hour cell, but apparently it's got both the positive and negative terminal on each end. And I'm not sure why it's designed that way. I'm going to have to look it up. But it's certainly a pretty hefty 21700 cell that comes with that flashlight. 15 amp maximum discharge, 5,000 milliamp hours. Even under the tail cap, look at that. It's interesting little design there. Like it makes contact not in the center but on the sides there. If you can see those little strips of copper, those 3 strips of copper there. Fascinating. And down the battery tube as well, you can see that spring right at the end. Nice little copper contact as well. I wonder if I can take the head off or anything like that. I don't think so. Let me try. Nope, you can't remove. And I'm not able to remove the head of the flashlight. It looks like that's been glued in. How do I put this battery in? This way, I'm guessing. And screw it back in again. Wow. Excellent. So it's working fine. I just got to make sure I charge it up. I tell you what, I'm super impressed with the overall design of this flashlight. It feels very military, very tactical sort of feel to it. There's little intricate designs as well, like you can see here, this little bit of knurling there, here as well, just a little bit of a grippiness, especially with this type of anodization. I do find it's a bit more slippy than, say, this stuff here at the front, which is more of a matte, definitely a little bit more slippery. So this kind of knurling certainly does help, but I just like the design. Even here, these little cutouts, you know, makes it stand out more. Certainly the machining or whatever process that they put it through gives it some unique aesthetics that I haven't seen with some of my other flashlights. It feels very well balanced in my hand, and the quality is just amazing. Really a step above a lot of the so-called budget flashlights that I own. There's like a little cutout there as well. Just the attention to detail. And so what I'm going to do, I am going to go test this out, use it for about a week or so, do some tests, some lux tests, some throw tests, also test the CCT and also the CRI of this flashlight. I'll also do some beam shots as well in a dark location, some long distance beam shots, and we'll see how it performs. Okay, I've got the Nitecore P23i, and I'm just gonna put it straight onto turbo, see how far we can see. Quite a large and broad hotspot, and look at that. It's that SFT70. Lots of spill, lots of generous spill, and from this distance as well, you can't really see the shape of the bezel. You sort of tap the second button and it reduces down the output. Okay, goes straight up again, top mode. Wow. Decent, really decent throw. Nitecore P23i. Really strong and floody beam, but with this gigantic hotspot right in the center. Go for a bit of a walk. Welcome back. So I've used this flashlight for about a week or so, and I want to go through some of my final thoughts to help you decide whether this is the right light for you. So first of all, I want to mention that Nitecore have definitely squeezed a heck of a lot of features into this pocketable little flashlight. Big fan of the dual switch design. I think it's quite intuitive. Only use tactical lights that just have one switch on the back. P23i's earned a place in my top 5 EDCs to carry around. Normally tactical flashlights are really big, but as you can see, this one really just fits in the palm of my hand. It's around the same size as my Convoy M2. I do like the glass breaking beads. I think I might have mentioned this before, but it's something now that you see with more premium flashlights, tactical flashlights anyway. And you know, it's maybe not likely that you use them, but it's good to have that feature anyway. Maybe you need to break a window to get out of a car, or who knows. But I think that's a good little option, and attention to detail. The smooth reflector, really pleased to see that smooth reflector in there to be able to just get extra throw out of the SFT70. I do find a lot of tactical flashlights utilize an orange peel reflector. Me being a bit of a throwy sort of flashlight guy, I was quite excited to have a play around with this one, and I definitely wasn't disappointed. Let's go through the UI, and the first thing I'm going to mention is that there's 2 different modes. You've got daily mode, and then you've got tactical mode. At the moment, I've got it on tactical mode. I'm going to show you halfway through how to actually switch it. Tactical mode, you've got the 2 switches on the back. Basically, if you press the large switch halfway, you get turbo. Really bright. Really, really, really bright. Okay, press it down and click. It locks in the turbo, switches off. If you press the mode button, it just strobes. So you have 1-step strobe, 1-step momentary, and you've got that momentary turbo, and you can lock it in as well. So say you're in turbo and you want to lower the brightness. Now in tactical mode, it always switches on the highest mode first. Okay, it doesn't remember any other of the modes. So you have to turn it on to turbo and then click that little second button, mode button here that's usually used for the one-step strobe, and it just lowers down. So there's 4 steps. And turbo, high, medium, and then you've got low. Okay, and that's pretty much about it. That is it. So I mean, I've turned the flashlight off, and then I can turn it back on, and again, it just goes straight back into that turbo mode again. Another thing you can do is that you can lock in the strobe mode so that when you press the tactical switch or lock in the tactical switch, it just goes straight on to strobe. So what you do, turn the flashlight on, press the mode button 3 times, switch the flashlight off, and when you activate that momentary switch, go straight on to strobe, press it again, strobe. So pretty much it's strobe all the way. Every button is strobe. To disable it, you just got to turn it on and press the mode button again, and it switches back to that other mode. Now, this is good for tactical. I mean, if you're going out and you want that flashlight to really activate on the highest mode when you press that button. But what if you're around the house? What if, say, you are just wanting to use it for general purpose and you want to prioritize some of the lowest modes first? Well, let me show you what to do. So to switch to daily mode, what you have to do is press this button here, the mode button again. Okay, now that's the strobe mode. So it turns on, it strobes, and then you unscrew the tail cap, let go of the mode, and then screw it back in. So the light is now in daily mode. So you switch on that light, and basically you've got 4 modes. So you've got the lowest mode, 1 mode up from that. Okay, so very low, low. Then you've got medium, high. And to access turbo, you press and hold the mode button. Okay, so you can only access turbo by pressing and holding that mode button. Otherwise, you have these 4 modes. So very low, low, medium, high, and hold down the mode button for turbo. Okay, so I think that's a really good function because one, it just memorizes, you can get it to memorize the low mode so it doesn't blind you. If you're in tactical mode, you can't use this thing around the house. It's just too bright. So turn that off, and in this EDC daily mode, now what you can do is also press the mode button and you still have access to that 1-step strobe. So if you happen to be, if you happen to accidentally leave it in that mode, it's good because I think that emergency 1-step strobe is such a good feature on flashlight, a self-defensive measure and something that you can use to draw attention as well. So it's good that Nitecore decided to keep that on no matter what you do. Okay, I tend to actually have this light on tactical mode most of the time. I don't use it around the house. So pretty simple UI. Once you manage to switch the UIs, get a hang of switching the UIs, you're fine. Remember, to switch UIs, you press down the mode, unscrew the tail cap, release the mode, and then screw it back in again. And here I've got it on tactical mode. So let's talk a little bit about performance. I did a whole bunch of tests, and I'll start with the ceiling bounce test. As you can see here on the screen, the figures are a little bit messed up. It starts at 120, but it should start at 100. But it's more the curve that's going to be of interest to you. So you can see as soon as the light turns on, the output immediately drops. So there's no sustained output at full lumens. It continues to drop in quite a linear fashion until you get to about 3 minutes, and that 3-minute mark, it just holds. Okay, so yeah, again, you're about 20-something% of the total output at that stage. I didn't see it budge from that even after 8 minutes. That's when I ended the test. But one thing I did notice was that the light was very, comfortable to hold. It definitely was a bit warm up the top over here, but that ramp down is really required with such a powerful LED in there. You're just not going to be able to sustain any decent output with a light of this size. It would have been nice to see the flashlight sustained full lumens at the 30-second mark as per the FL1 standards. Unfortunately, I did not see that in this particular model. So looking at the candela ratings, so I did a bunch of conversions, and as you can see on the screen here, 502 meters. So that actually exceeds the official specs of 470 meters. Again, do keep in mind that ceiling bounce curve, because even after the 10-15 seconds, the light will drop significantly in output and you will lose some throw with that. But I think it's really cool that the light can actually achieve those figures on turn on. So if we go ahead and look at the color rendering index, got 70.3 there. So it's definitely not the highest color rendering index, but with these LEDs, that's not what they're designed for. They're designed for brightness and overall just visibility. So no concern there. And the CCT, I measured 6462. So definitely a cool white LED. As I'm sure you guys saw in the beam shots, you got this really large and bright hotspot. Just looks like a big spotlight. And I've never seen a hotspot really that large before and that bright, especially. I think it's quite unique and, a practical hotspot as well with throwers. A lot of the time you get a very concentrated hotspot in the center, which is good for long distance spotting. But even for mid-range spotting, I think this is a really great flashlight because it doesn't wash out anything that you shine it on, and it's still usable. So daily mode does make it practical to use around the house. It memorizes the ultra low mode, as I mentioned before. So, I tend to use the tactical mode just for outdoor EDC use. When I'm carrying this flashlight on me outdoors, that's the mode I want on, tactical. With the two different modes, you get the best of both worlds depending on what you're using it for. And I do like that Nitecore have used a 21700 cell in this light as well, because you've got extra current draw on this LED. It's going to drain the battery faster, so extra run time on that 21700 cell, especially if you're using this light in the lower modes. A couple of considerations that you guys will need to be aware of. Now, the first one is the proprietary battery. Now, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Now, according to Nitecore, the proprietary battery here is used to increase current flow, so it doesn't rely on the tail cap, can actually access both the positive and negative terminals from the front of the battery right there as it sits. It also ensures compatibility with this tail switch as well. So it's just something to keep in mind. Another thing that you guys might want to know is that on the lower modes, I did notice a slightly darker area in the center of the beam. Didn't seem to be an issue on the higher modes, so 100%, 80 to 100%, but this is very common for SFT70 lights, especially when you're using a smooth reflector, and I really would prefer it to have this reflector than have a orange pill reflector and the beam look a little bit more nicer. I like this flashlight for its practicality. It's used for precision and long range applications. The combination of that smooth reflector and that throwy LED is perfect. All in all, this is an excellent tactical EDC light. Most lights with all these features, especially 3000 lumen output flashlights, are significantly larger. And I've seen this on a few other tactical flashlights that I own as well. So I'm really impressed that Nitecore have managed to fit in so many features into this fully fledged mini tactical thrower. I think portability is a big thing for me. And when I go out, I tend to grab the most powerful, but the smallest light that I can find. And this definitely fits that category to a T, just in case I need that extra lumen output. So if you don't mind the proprietary battery, definitely go ahead and get one. I've put the link in the description. This flashlight was provided to me by a new company called Flashlightgo, and I'll leave you their details in the description. They sell a whole bunch of different branded flashlights, and they've been a pleasure to deal with. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to get back to you. I'm sure there's some things that I haven't really covered in this video. And if you like the video, you found it helpful, please click the like button. That helps my video get out to more people. And if you want to keep seeing me make more reviews and good quality content, make sure you subscribe. Thank you.